Hey everybody, welcome to Melanin Goddess Life. I am the Melanin Goddess Sonia, and today is Saturday, May the 16th, 2020. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, evening, night, or whenever you're watching this video. I hope you're staying safe, but I also hope that you are enjoying your life and not letting a day go by without doing something awesome for yourself. So today we are going to be talking about the beautiful moon. Now, the moon is a very, very, very special entity to me because I am a sun sign of Cancer. And if you know anything about Cancers, we are ruled by the moon. So that means that we are a very emotional group of people. So if you have a Cancer in your life, you know how our emotions are kind of like up and down within a matter of minutes. It's because we are ruled by the beautiful moon. But what you also need to realize is the moon not only governs our emotions, it governs a lot of things that go on in our lives because it is a force to be reckoned with. So I want to talk to you today about harnessing that energy from the moon that can help you manifest, that can help you in your spell work and your ritual work and all of those things. So get out your sheets of paper so you can take notes. Okay, we are back. So today we're going to be talking about manifesting and practicing with the moon cycles. Now, everyone knows that there's different cycles of the moon, and so we're going to go over them, and we're going to learn how to harness the energy, the power, the magic from the moon to help you along with your manifestation practices, your spell work, your ritual work, all of that, because the energy from the moon is very powerful, and so you need to be using this to manifest. So I got my notes here, so I may look down occasionally trying to keep up and keep on track because I don't want to rattle on like I'm doing now. Okay, today we're discussing manifesting and spell work with the cycles of the moon. So if you've been following me, then you know that I'm a believer in the power of manifestation. I believe that we all have the gift of manifestation, but as I always say, some of us have tapped into that gift and we are using it actively, while some of us have decided not to for whatever reason, and we are leaving that gift dormant. But one of the ways I manifest is through the energy of candle magic. That is basically with the element of fire. And for me, fire is the most intense element to work with of the four elements, which are fire, air, water, and earth. Now, each element is powerful in its own right. But for me, I've had my biggest success with working with the element of fire. But in addition to manifesting through fire, I also use the energy of the moon cycles to enhance my manifestation work. When you're manifesting, you want to incorporate as many tools as possible in your manifestation practices for them to be more successful and for them to gain energy. So if you're working with the moon cycles, you will find out, if you're doing the proper work with the moon cycles, that this is a great energy to harness and to incorporate into your manifestation or spell work or ritual work. The moon cycles are an awesome, divinely blessed, God-given tool to work with. So don't waste this energy. Please don't waste it. It is there for you to work with. God has blessed us with it. God wants us to use it. Why not use the energy? The moon is like begging for you guys to use the energy of it. So we're going to talk about the 8 cycles of the moon. So there are a total of 8 moon cycles, and I'm going to list them in order. The first one is the new moon. The second is the waxing crescent moon. The third is the first quarter moon. The fourth is the waxing gibbous moon. The fifth is the full moon. The sixth is the waning gibbous moon. The seventh is the last quarter moon. And the eighth is the waning crescent moon. So we're going to break down all 8 of those moons. I'm also going to give you some tips on what type of work or manifestation that you want to use with each one of these moons. So yeah, like I said, get your pens and papers, and you're gonna take some really good notes. Okay, so first of all, most people are familiar with 2 moons, which is the new moon and the full moon. And in all honesty, if you just worked with the cycle of the new moon and the full moon, your manifestation and your ritual work would be a success. It would definitely be a success if you only worked with those 2 moons. However, there are 6 other moon cycles that have this phenomenal energy. And these 6 other cycles, all 8 cycles have individual energy that you can use for specific manifestation and specific spell work or ritual work. So what we're going to learn today is what's the best time to do certain types of ritual work for certain moons, and we're going to learn the days that these moons come into their cycle. And like I said, all 8 of them have their own unique energies, and we want to take advantage of it and take our manifestations to a whole nother level. The moon is a powerfully divine entity, and I have a saying that the sun energizes and the moon fortifies. Whereas we get our energy, our drive, our vitality from the sun, but from the moon nurtures, it strengthens, and it protects us. So the sun and the moon play different roles in our lives. The moon is a divine feminine energy. It represents wisdom, intuition, birth, death, reincarnation, and spiritual connection. The moon cycles are similar to the cycles of planting a seed. So when you plant a seed, you plant it, it grows into a flower, it blooms, and then it dies. Those basically are the same cycles that the moon goes through. So you can equate the moon cycles with the planting, the nurturing, the growth, the harvesting, and then the dying off, the pruning of a seed, of a flower. It's just pretty much the same thing. So let's start with first things first. Let's talk about the first cycle, which is the new moon. This is when the moon is between the earth and the sun, and basically the moon goes dark. So the new moon is the dark moon. You don't see it. This cycle happens every 4 weeks, give or take a day or two. This is the beginning of the moon cycle, and at the time when you're planting your new seeds of intention, because you're going to be planting the beginning harvest of your manifestations or your ritual work. This moon is good, of course, again, for new beginnings, visionary work, setting our intentions, and breathing new life into something that may not have worked out previously or may have stalled. So you want to breathe new and fresh energy into it. This is an excellent time for preparing and gathering information. Also, if you have an altar or a sacred workspace, this is the ideal time to cleanse that space, and this is a wonderful time to give an offering, especially if you have an ancestor altar or you have a deity altar. This is the ideal time, the new moon, to do an offering. Now, even though the new moon has this new energy, this moon is actually not the optimal time to start your manifestation work. And I say that because it is a new moon. The energy is just starting. It is not its strongest that it could be at the start of the new moon. Now, don't get me wrong. As I said before, starting your process, starting your manifestation, starting your ritual work on the new moon day is fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to have great energy behind it, and you're going to manifest whatever it is you want to manifest. But it is not at its strongest because it's at the beginning phases. This phase right here for the new moon is more of a preparation phase. So you want to be gathering the information, gathering your tools, gathering the things that you're going to be working with to do your manifestation. You're going to be cleansing those items. You're going to be praying over those items, meditating, whatever it is that you do for your preparation phase. This is the ideal time, is when the new moon on the first day, the first 2 or 3 days of the new moon. And again, you can start your work at any time, but as I said before, this is more like the preparation phase and preparing everything that you want to do and preparing yourself. You might want to go ahead and do your spiritual baths, your meditation work, your breath work, whatever it is that you want to do, you might want to start it during this second moon, which is the waxing crescent moon. This phase begins 3 days after the new moon and is considered the planting phase. I consider this the planting phase. And this moon gives you your first visible signs that the moon is growing. So this moon is going to show you, like the new moon is dark, you can't see it. This moon is going to give you your first visible signs that the moon is growing. Thus, this is the ideal moon to use for your manifestations, your spell work, and your ritual work. This is the time that you want to start your work. The new moon, again, was for preparation. This moon is for beginning the work. The reason is this moon has gained energy, and it's best used for work related to growth, because it is growing, abundance, and bringing something to you. This moon, I would tell you, is ideal for doing manifestation work or ritual work that has to do with money, wealth, abundance, and prosperity. And it's also a good time to give honor to the moon. So this is your abundant work, like your money work. You're calling in more business to yourself. Anything that you're bringing to you that has to do with money or prosperity, abundance, or wealth, or the growing of something. This is the phase that you want to do that. And this is also the phase that you want to honor and give thanks and welcome in the moon, because, you know, it's growing and it's getting started. Now, the third moon is going to be the first quarter moon. Now, this phase begins 7 days after the new moon. And this phase is considered the resistance phase, because if there are going to be any challenges in your work, this will more than likely be the time that it would show up. If there's going to be any type of resistance to what you are petitioning the universe for, or what you're trying to manifest, or the spell that you're trying to put forward, this phase of the moon is going to be when if you're going to have those issues, you'll probably see it during this phase. Okay. What I would suggest, if you encounter, now that doesn't mean that you're going to have any resistance. That doesn't mean that. And that doesn't mean that you won't have resistance at any other phase of the moon. But if the resistance is, you know, at the beginning phases of whatever you're trying to do, this will be the moon that you will start to see that. And what I would suggest that you do, first of all, don't panic. Don't panic. This is a time for you to be very flexible. Kind of just sit back and make note of what you're noticing with what's going on around you, because then you'll start seeing signs of your manifestation or signs of your work. So you want to make sure that you are just kind of watching the signs of that and monitoring that. Don't panic. This is just the phase that you just kind of watch. This phase actually is excellent for doing work that pertains to love. It also is a good time to do work that pertains to gambling. Like if you have people that like to go to the casino, or, you know, play poker, games of chance, stuff like that. This is a good time to do work for that. This is an awesome time for you to do fertility work. And when I say fertility work, most people think like trying to have a baby, but it could go into that realm. But there's so many other things that cover fertility, like the fertility of a business, growing your business, birthing a new business. So fertility work is good for this time. Self-love work is good for this time. And healing work, whether it be mind, body, spirit, emotional, the healing of relationships. But healing work is really good for this time also. And it's also an excellent time to do beauty treatments. So if you're wanting to do a beauty treatment for yourself, something new, this would be an excellent time for you to do it in this particular moon phase, which is the first quarter moon phase. Okay, the fourth moon phase we call the waxing gibbous moon. Now, this moon is going to start 10 days after the new moon, and it's going to last until the 13th day. So between the 10th and the 13th, you're going to have this waxing gibbous moon. Now, this is the moon phase that I consider the adjustment phase. This is the phase, whereas the moon phase prior to that was the resistance phase, where if you encountered any issues with what you were trying to manifest and bring forward, you were going to take note and just be mindful of what was going on. This is the adjustment phase. This is where you would make any type of changes that you need to make to your work. As far as in the resistance phase, I wouldn't do anything to change it. Like I said, I would just be mindful of it. I would get centered and try to figure out what I could change, and this would be the moon that I would make my changes to that. Once you have made the necessary changes, just allow the universe to do its work. That's it. That's what this moon is for. The fifth moon, of course, is the full moon. Now, this moon starts 14 days after the new moon, and of course, you can identify it because it's big and bright and illuminating in the sky. This moon represents the culmination and the success of everything that you have put. This is going to be the culmination of your work, the putting together of everything that you've put out in the previous moons. It's going to come to a culmination with this moon. Now, let me premise this with that, because I don't want you to get in your head that you started the work with the new moon, you went through the phases, and by the full moon, your manifestation is just going to be done. It could happen that way. I'm not saying it could not happen that quickly. But keep in mind, more than likely, your manifestation is going to take a few moon cycles before it comes to culmination. So just because you started something at the new moon time does not mean by the full moon in 14 days it's going to be whatever it is that you wanted it to be. It could be. I'm not saying that it's not. However, it's not likely. We don't know how many moon cycles it will take for you to manifest what you're trying to manifest. Just keep in mind, when the universe decides that it's time to bring this manifestation forward, more than likely it will culminate around the full moon. So I just want to make sure that I make myself very clear that I am not telling you it's going to take 14 days and then whatever it is you were trying to manifest is just going to pop out and manifest. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's going to take as many moon cycles as it needs to take. The universe is going to take as long as it needs to take because the universe is divine in its timing and it knows when things need to be brought to fruition. But more than likely, when it is time for it to come to culmination, it will be on or around or close to the full moon. So I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on that and I did not misrepresent what was going to happen. During this time of the full moon, people are very open and very receptive. This is a good time to, if you're trying to talk with someone and get your point across, or you've been having an issue with someone, or you've been having a blockage of some sort, people are going to be more open at this time, and this is a good time to get in any of those conversations or hard conversations that you've been having an issue with. This is a great time for that. Now, also, this is a time when people, and I know most people know this, are highly, highly emotional and a little bit crazy. So you kind of take the bitter with the sweet. They're open and receptive, but they may be a little bit emotional, and you may be a little bit emotional, but that's just what happens around this time. As far as work around this time, any type of manifestation work, any type of ritual work, any type of spell work is awesome for the full moon. So just have at it. Whatever you want to do, have at it. You do that. Now, moving to the sixth phase. The sixth phase is the waning gibbous moon. Now let me stop right there and tell you the difference between waxing and waning. So when the moon is waxing, that means the moon is growing. When the moon is waning, that means the moon is shrinking. So we understand that. So at the sixth moon phase, which is the waning gibbous moon, this is the time when the moon is shrinking. This moon, and make note of this, this moon appears on the third day after the full moon until the seventh day. So that window between the third and the seventh day after the full moon is when you're going to get the waning gibbous moon. This energy is the energy that you're going to, I consider this the phase of the banishing phase. This is the energy that you're going to use to rid yourself of anything. Any negative energy, you're going to remove yourself and free yourself from any burdens, any bad habits, any addictive behaviors, anything that's been holding you back or causing you harm. This is the time that you're going to use this particular energy to banish all of that away. with that being said, this is a great time for, like I said, banishing work or spells. Protection work is a good time to do this. This is a good time for cleansing, clearing away, and detoxing. So if you wanted to do your spiritual baths to cleanse yourself and rid yourself of any negative energy around you, this would be the time. Detoxing is great during this time. This particular moon is great if you are doing a banishing ritual that has to do with a divorce, an addiction, a separation, any type of problems that you've been having. This is a great time because this is the banishing phase. This is when we want to shrink our problems. We want to banish away anything that is not here to do good by us. This is a great moon for that. The 7th moon phase is called the last quarter moon. Now this moon starts 7 days after the full moon up until the 10th day. So it's a window of about 3 days. 7 to 10 days after the full moon. Now this is the rest phase because we've been working. These last 6 moon cycles, we've been putting in some work. So this is actually going to come up as your rest phase. You're going to now at this point give it all over to the moon because you have been working in conjunction. You've been doing the process. You've been doing your manifestations. You've been doing your meditations and everything. So you have been physically, mentally, and spiritually working with the moon. And that's the expectation of the moon. Please don't ever think that you're going to put any type of work out of anything and you're not supposed to do your part. You have to do your part. Your universe requires and expects us to help with what we're trying to manifest. You're not going to leave it just up to the universe. Now, don't get me wrong, the universe is powerful and can do anything. But as a sign of respect and gratitude and taking responsibility, you have to do some work. You have to do some work. So this is the phase where you're just going to rest. You have put in the energy. You have done everything that you're supposed to do mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's time to rest. Just rest because you worked yourself up here. So this is the resting phase. This is also a good time to remove yourself from any toxic relationships. This is a good time to remove yourself from any toxic relationships. And also, this is a great time to do any type of work. If you want to start this work, any type of work that has to do with the court system or the justice system. This is an ideal time at the last quarter moon. If you were planning to do a ritual, you want to do court work and justice work at the last quarter moon. This is a great moon for that. Okay, so the last and final moon, which is the 8th moon, is the waning crescent moon. Now, this moon actually starts on the 10th day after the full moon, and it lasts until the night before the new moon. Okay, this is the gratitude phase. This is the phase that you sit and reflect and you give thanks and honor and appreciation to the moon for her guidance, her protection, and her wisdom over your situation and over your life. This is a great time to do your offerings to the moon, your meditations to the moon, but just say thank you and be grateful for her assistance and her covering over your life. So this is the gratitude phase. So however you want to do that is up to those you. Are the 8 phases of the moon. As you can see, there are blessings and advantages to each and every one of these moons. Not just the new moon and not just the full moon. Those moons in between are powerful. And once you start working with them and once you start learning how to time your work, you're going to see your manifestation and your ritual work and your spell work go to a whole other level. You're going to be amazed at how awesome and how easy it is going to be for you to start incorporating the moon cycles into your work. What I would suggest you do is you can Google moon cycles and you can put them on your calendar. There are actual calendars on there that will tell you. There's apps that will tell you what cycle of moon that we're in. Just, all kinds of tools and resources that you can use. But it is awesome. People really don't realize how much energy and assistance the moon can give you when you're doing your work. So I want everyone to take advantage. So yeah, the moon is an awesome tool. Incorporate it into your manifestation work, and you're going to see an immediate change in how dynamic your work is now. So that's the end of the video. I am so glad that you guys hung in here with me. I hope it wasn't too long and I didn't ramble too long. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Also, if you are in need of customized manifestation ritual candles, let me know. Just visit my Etsy store at etsy.com. My store is Melanin Goddess Life. And you can go over there for your manifestation, customized manifestation candles, ritual candles, all your metaphysical tools and products that you need. I am adding new items on a regular basis. So go over there and visit my store and see if there's anything that I can help you with. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching this video. And you guys have an awesome, awesome day.